Okay, greetings, this is Jack Flame Shansite, and today I'm going to go over the top 10 worst military decisions in world history. Okay, I'm going to start out with the big one, the Soviet invasion of Afghanistan. The Soviets sent massive numbers of troops to Afghanistan to invade it. Now the Afghans are a very hardy bunch. They have been fighting off Indian Mughals to the British Empire to the Islamic fundamentalists for 1,200 years. Pretty long time. And all the Soviets wanted to do was set up a unpopular communist government in Kabul. Now, the Soviets sent in helicopters, Hind helicopters to be exact. The beginning of the war was largely successful for the Soviets. They killed the guerrillas in the massive valleys of Afghanistan. But then, the Afghans got something they didn't expect. The USA sent Stinger missiles. The Stinger shot 333 Soviet helicopters in the course of the 10-year war. The Soviets lost 15,000 men and billions of rubles worth of equipment. For the Afghans, the country was left devastated and ripe for a group called the Taliban to take over. Okay, here we go. Everyone is expecting this. Custer's massacre. Custer, in his infamous massacre, he had the choice of bringing Gatling guns with him. Elsewhere in Indian wars, how Indians reacted to the Gatling guns, they scattered. They basically scattered when they saw the Gatling gun firing because they were so utterly shocked. But Custer thought to himself, hey, I don't need Gatling guns. We're just going to go to a small Indian outpost. We'll massacre them. Instead, Custer led more than 250 doomed men on the famous 7th Cavalry into Montana Hill Country. If he had taken them greatly improved machine guns with him, the outcome of the much-discussed last stand would surely have been different. What could have been going through Custer's mind as he stood? The breeze whipping his famous golden hair behind him, his loyal men dead all about him, and several hundred Sioux warriors galloping towards him, intent on making him a human pincushion. Could it possibly have been, I really could have used those Gatling guns right now. Okay, this one's going to be about the American Civil War. I have two about the American Civil War. After the Confederate defeat at Gettysburg, General Meade had a choice at following the Confederate Army back into Virginia. Instead, he stayed where he stood and reformed his army. Now, if Meade would have attacked Robert E. Lee during his retreat back into Virginia, it could have possibly ended the war. But he never gave the attack. No one was quite sure what he was waiting for. But when President Lincoln found out that Meade had literally allowed the end of the war to slip through his hands, Honest Abe was quite utterly pissed off. It was Meade's indecision that allowed General Grant to come up from Vicksburg and take command of the Army of the Potomac. If Meade had attacked, the Civil War would not have gone on for 2 more years and killed countless Confederate and Union lives. The Reconstruction would have been much different. Okay, now for Napoleon. Napoleon's invasion of Russia. To this point in his military career, Napoleon was known nothing but victory after victory. He's conquered pretty much all Europe that refused to ally with him, and suddenly he was sitting around with the largest army ever created in Europe up until then with nothing to do. So Napoleon looks east to Mother Russia. We all know how it turned out, but you have to think someone in that huge army knew it was a bad idea. In any event, he didn't say anything, and the rest of is history. Napoleon invaded Russia with 750,000 men and didn't fight much of a battle. The Russians retreated into the vastness of their country and burned everything in their wake. Result? Napoleon gets to Moscow only to find smoking ruins. Dejected at not getting to move his toy soldiers around on his big map, he turns the Grand Army around and begins for home. But then the real trouble begins. Constant harassment by tiny mobile Russian units, constant hunger because the supply lines are cut in more places than Danish lace, and worst of all, winter sets in and the soldiers start freezing to death in droves. 750,000 went in, but less than 1 in 3 made it out. Now here's the Confederate blunder. And this blunder came in a very, very small form. In the form of a small sheet of paper wrapped around 3 cigars. On this paper told that Lee had divided his army into 3 parts, intending to bring the battle to Antietam Creek. When the Union discovered this, they moved all their forces to the Battle of Sharpsburg. This battle would be the single bloodiest day of combat in American history, with 23,000 killed and countless wounded before the sun set. If this paper would not have been discovered, the Union probably would have lost that battle, therefore stopping the Emancipation Proclamation, which made the war into more of an anti-slavery movement, therefore stopping the British from supporting the Confederacy during the war. This would have drastically changed the history of North America. Okay, now for the Soviet invasion by Adolf Hitler. Basically, see the before topic, replace Napoleon with Hitler, Russia with the Soviet Union, and the Grand Army with Wehrmacht. Excuse my pronunciation. And you get the gist of the story. Operation Barbarossa was, without a doubt, the worst case in someone who failed to learn from history, being doomed to repeat it. Adolf Hitler proved that it's not only teenagers who think it can't happen to me. Okay, the next one. A famous battle of the Alamo. Santa Anna, Napoleon of the West, trekking through Texas. Santa Anna thought that he could teach the Texans a lesson about Mexican politics by his great big army. Now one can wonder, why did he waste so much time attacking the Alamo? Why didn't he just go around the Alamo to attack the Texan capital? This gave the Texan army a chance to be reinforced and to get in a better position. The end result was when the Texans caught Santa Anna sleeping at the Battle of San Jacinto. And at that time, the Republic of Texas was formed. Okay, now into modern warfare. Saddam deploys into open desert in the Iraq War. He could have used the city as cover and destroyed every bridge and tunnel in Iraq, making the advance much longer and much more bloody. But he did not do such things. Enough said. And another mini one, Cold Harbor. This was Grant what Gettysburg was for Lee. This was the most stupid move of his career. He orders charge after charge against Confederate Army of Northern Virginia, which is well dug in trench work. He did nothing but get 15,000 Union troops killed in action. And another small one, the Maginot Line. What part of the days of trench warfare are over didn't the French understand? And can I? The Romans rush into things and find themselves trapped by Hannibal. Stirling Bridge. The English Northern Army goes through a choke point, a bridge, to get at Scottish rebels and are trapped at the end of the bridge and are crushed because their army failed to deploy itself effectively. This has been part 1 of the Military Blunder series. I'll upload it soon. Please subscribe so you know when part 2 comes out. On the YouTube front page, it'll be there. And please take from this video, it's never a good idea to invade Russia.